That's annoying that an error occurred. There we go. Now it seems to be working. Just do a quick audio check, and then I'll try to start the stream.
Used to really rub me,
but maybe some drama. Maybe some drama. There we go. Now it seems to be working. Just do a quick audio check. Audio seems fine. So potential whoopsie. I didn't get the replay. I know this happened. The Visegrad versus USA 4. I know it happened because I know who won, but I actually never got their replays. So I might pivot and change who we're streaming in this immediate moment. My bad. I thought I had them all. All right. Haven't got a response yet, so what we're gonna do is probably pivot. What up, Trogdor? Hey, Incars. Okay, so let's edit the stream. Let's do Hauptschweiz versus USA 3. Which ones don't you have? I don't have any of them in cars. I don't have any of the games. First time catching Human Boy live in a while. Potential whoopsie. Yeah. I can just change who we're casting. So we'll do Hauptschweiz versus USA 3. So I'm gonna just change the title of the stream and save. And then I'm gonna change the thumbnail. Easy peasy. So no big deal. No big deal, friends, countrymen, family members. Let's pull up the desktop. So we need Swiss USA. We will still stream that other one, just not this second. Make it nice and big, not that big. There we go. All right, Swiss USA, check. USA versus Swiss, good. All right, okay. Should be good. We got to get 2 streams done today. We are doing a stream back to back. So we got to do that before Tactical Lich streams because I don't want to interrupt his scheduled tournament at noon. Let us get started. So welcome to the World Cup. If you have not been a part of this at all until this point, here's the quick introduction. We got 17 teams from across the world. Most of them are geographical locations. Some are clans of friends that wanted to play together. So in the first World Cup, we tried to make sure everybody was in the same area of the globe. Some people got mad about certain aspects of that. So then we also said this one, it's like, fine, certain aspects of the globe, or you can just do a clan if you want to. So today we're going to try and stream all 4 quarterfinals. This immediate stream is now going to be Hauptschweiz, which means Go Switzerland versus USA 3. RTK is on the front there because it's the RTK clan. Yeah, first of our quarterfinal matchups we're going to stream. I do know who won this series. I honestly do not remember what the score was. I have not seen any of the replays before. We're going into it blind for the matchup today. At the top, you see 2 global bans. That means neither of those factions will be played in this best of 5 by either party. No Empire, no Beastmen. We do have a mix of conquest, domination, and land battle games. All 5 games will be cast no matter what. If it is a 5-0, we keep casting until all 5 games are done. Olaf Adler, Attack Speed Enjoyer, Pope Patty, and Sipa versus Jackerskins, Jepadu, Alexander Nuts, Driver, and Torreson. Cool. Let's get into it. Go find our first replay. I need Olaf the Moose versus Jackerskins. I have those games, right? There it is. It's called Hunting at Walmart, so it wasn't obvious. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Conquest, boot it up, bring you guys over, get rid of the blocker. Oh, it's looking for Crusader Kings. That's why it's still blackened. Hey. Hey. Wake up. Why are you being stupid, streaming software? I have selected Warhammer 3. You know you are looking for Warhammer 3, so pull it up. There we go. Finally got it to cooperate. Stupid, dumb technology thing. Okay. Back in it. So who was who? I didn't get to glance who was who on the way in. Darken the screen so you don't see spoilers. Quit replay. Load replay. Re-undarken the screen. There you go. Okay, Olaf the Moose is on Norsca versus the Ogre Kingdoms of Jackerskins. We have not gotten to see a lot of Norsca in this event because they are frequently banned. We'll get to see their power, as we do have some of the new units that are making them so powerful. We have the Dreadmaw, we have the ROR Skirmish Cav in here, the Riders of the Mighty Serpent. And we do have Worshippers of the Crow, the Marauders, the OP Regiment of Renown that definitely for sure is overpowered and not usually very underwhelming. Usually very underwhelming. We have a great Shaman Sorcerer of Fire with just Burning Head, and then we have a Shaman Sorcerer Hero of Metal with Plague of Rust. Diversifying your magic casters. Frontline of Marauders, some of which have great weapons, including the Worshippers of the Crow, 3 Marauder Hunter Javelins, a bunch of Skin Wolves, Norscan Ice Wolves, which are very, very strong, and then Riders of the Mighty Serpent, as we mentioned before. These guys are just badass as hell. Probably a little overpowered. Anti-large missiles, magic damage on their melee attacks, and on their weapon strength. And then they have a buff that gives leadership and fear if they're in range of an enemy, not even in melee. So they're really, really good. Dreadmaw already terror routes off some piggyback riders by popping up and half healthing them. Feels balanced, feels safe. For the ogres, we have 2 Golgies Man-Eaters, then piggyback riders and Noblars for our front line. 4 Blood Vultures. I see an Eshin Man-Eater here with some Noblar Trappers, and then a Slaughter Mesh with Great Maw with Heal and Bullgorger. Cool. Norsca is seeming content to let the ogres take the point for now, as the Dreadmaw is just trying to get free value out. Kill off a bunch of Noblars before the engagement even begins. The Dreadmaw is a dumb unit that should be campaign only. Big agree. Big agree, as it does pop up. Takes a third to a quarter of the health off these Noblars. It's probably going to go back underground soon as my kitty cat comes to join me. Hello, kitty cat. Golgies Man-Eaters are in combat with the Dreadmaw. Now it can teleport away or do its back underground move, though it depends on where the cooldowns are. Plague of Rust Overcast is down as the Marauder Hunter Javelins move in, so it looks like this was a bit of a bait. The Dreadmaw goes back underground, and now the Man-Eaters are just stuck. Plague of Rusted, 20 armor, no shields, as they get absolutely destroyed by the Javelins. I can't quite find their unit flag in all the chaos, but trust me, there it is. They are getting massacred. That is a very expensive unit. Instantly deleted before the start of the fight. Norse goes off to a huge advantage. Bounce power doesn't show it yet, but trust me, it's a pretty big advantage. Giant pileup from the ogres as Sabertooth Packs and Blood Vultures are trying to fight these Marauders and Norscan Ice Wolves. Norscan Ice Wolves do rout away. The Marauders will still be here for quite a while, and Skin Wolves even pile into the fight. Do have Skirmish Cav also firing in. I do think this is actually a really good situation for Norsca. Too many ogres units in the same spot just is going to deteriorate their resources across the map. And they're not going to get that much more damage value out. The Eshin Man-Eater is hunting the Dreadmaw. It just goes back underground and runs away. Still like full HP. It's actually just going to pop up in some more piggyback riders, maybe terror them off. I'm waiting to see that explosion come up as a Burning Head comes out. Oof. If he pops up now, there we go. He pops up, Burning Head, immediate terror out, and all the piggyback riders are dead. That was a really good Burning Head combo. It's not like the Dreadmaw's OP, it killed all his piggybacks, but its terror is nice. Skin Wolves are hunting down the Slaughtermaster, who is trying to stop the Javelins. The Ogre's front line is entirely in disarray. The bounce power is heavily in Norsca favor, and this is looking like a clean, crisp, quick game from the Men of the North. There it is. Jeremy, if you're in Australia, well, fuck you. Australia is clearly Krokgar. They can just play Krokgar. Because he's down... They could play Krokgar and Khalida. Because they're down in that... I mean, they're on the southern part of Africa, but you could also just give Australia something, because they're literally not even on the world map of Total War. So, yeah, just let them play Krokgar and Khalida. That's fine. My kitty cat's getting scritches, so I'm sorry. I'm a little slow on the mouse and keyboard here. Norsca's front line did fine. They still mostly had a lot of their health. Javelin throwers did great. Skirmish cav did okay. Skinwolves did fine. Dreadmaw, 200 value. Doesn't look like too much, but it was just really annoying and terror causing and didn't take much damage. It was a very short game, so I don't think the values are going to be that high, as the Ogres conceded quickly. Yeah, the Golgies Man-Eaters didn't get a lot done. They just got shredded out. Blood Vultures also struggled to find a home. Australia gets the donut. Give them the High Elves. I'm down for that. Give them some High Elves. Okay, time for our very advanced scoring system. Green checkmark for Olaf the Moose. Bam, bam. And red X for Jackerskins. Why is it beneath? It should not be in the beneath layer. It should be in the top layer. What the hell? There we go. Next up is Adler versus Jepalu. Adler versus Jepalu. I have found it. We have Tomb Kings versus Lizardmen. Double Carnosaur! Yeah! I forget who brought this technology to us first, but it's back, and it's better than ever. Who would Britain be? They're Albion, so I guess, like, a Norsca subfaction is the closest you could do with the current Total War. I still think the Brits wanted themselves to be the High Elves, but they walked that back. All right. Adler for the Swiss versus Jepalu's Amerikaners. We have 4 skeleton horse archers, Harkin with Spirit Leech and his summon, and then we have a Kemrian War Sphinx, not the anti-large version, the anti-infantry version. Skeleton warriors and spears across the front line, Eyes of the Desert, Sporkle Stalker, ROR, Chosen the Gods who shop to Great Bow, ROR, and then Skeleton and Nahakar Horsemen in the back line. On the other side, for the Lizardmen, we have the new emerging technology of Double Carnosaur, backed up by a bunch of Skinks, nothing new there. Cold One Spear Riders and Feral Cold Ones, also pretty standard. And then the Umbral Tide Salamander hunting back Mazda Mundi with Net and Apotheosis, and then Ruination of Cities and Banishment. Cool, cool. Double Carnosaurs are pretty good at dueling with the giant kitty cats. And then hunting down Cetra or Arkan or Kotep or whoever your lord is. Not a lot of good melee options for the Tomb Kings to take them out, and they are a little slender and speedy for basic Ushapti Great Bows to do that much damage to them. And they're relatively cheap compared to the Tomb Kings monsters. Like, I think they're 1,500 or 1,600, which is expensive in general terms, but the Tomb Kings don't have a lot of great cost-efficient answers into them. So, yeah, no anti-large cav, expensive halberds that they don't usually bring, things like that. So the Carnosaurs can work here. We saw it earlier in the World Cup. I honestly forgot who brought it. Front lines are colliding. Feral Cold Ones are rampaging into spears. Pretty bad for them, so they're going to die off nice and quickly. Kemrian War Sphinxes are doing a bit of distraction, but in comes the first Carnosaur, hunting down that War Sphinx. And this isn't even the Necro Sphinx, so he doesn't have the benefit of anti-large to fight back against the Carnosaur, who's currently actually ripping into him pretty good. With a 4,000 health advantage, he's still getting massacred by that Carnosaur, and in comes the anti-large fire damage of the Salamanders. The Kemrian War Sphinx is going down relatively quickly. Meanwhile, on the back line, the regular Feral Carnosaur, the second one, is currently surrounded by Nahakar Horsemen and rampaging as the Sporkle Stalkers try and line up a shot onto him. And Cold One Spear Riders will quickly get rid of the Skeleton Horsemen, but that is only a 400 gold unit blocking them up for now, so that is their entire job. Mazda Mundi's Banishment comes through onto the Skeleton Spears that are going to dodge it, so a bit of an unfortunate thing there for the Lizardmen. Kemrian War Sphinx was having a terrible time in that duel with the Feral Carnosaur and getting shot, so he's now trying to retreat down to 3,700 HP, 6,000 left on the Carnosaur, but The impressive firepower of the Tomb Kings is turning towards him, and a rampage unfortunately locks him down right in the middle of skeleton warriors, doing very little damage to those infantry while getting shot. But some brave feral cold ones charge in, just distracting the Sporkle Stalkers and saving that feral Carnosaur. Meanwhile, in the background, we are losing some Tomb Kings units. Again, they are just feeding these light cavalry options into the Spear Riders, just trying to hold them back from the back line for as long as they can. For the Tomb Kings, the only thing that's really going well is their front line. Skeleton warriors are holding and beating back skinks pretty nicely. Their backline units are somewhat able to shoot. Chosen of the Gods have been able to shoot mostly unobstructed. The Sporkle Stalkers are in much more trouble. They've had a lot of random crap thrown their way. Ushopti Summon is out, chasing the Salamanders back a little bit. So the balance power is favoring the Tomb Kings, though I do think that is a little temporary. We do have a summon on the field. That is helping them. And Sporkle Stalkers ended up in melee while they're trying to shoot the Salamanders who are moving up. Chosen of the Gods are also focusing over here, so the Carnosaurs have got to get pressure down while they're not the focus of this fire. That is really the thing, is whoever's getting shot needs to back off and like dodge, and the other two, the two Carnosaurs and the Salamanders are the three carry pieces, the Lizardmen. Whichever one is not getting shot does need to get in there, get some value. We see one is attacking Arkan, who's currently surrounded by Cold and Spear Riders. That's actually a huge trap for the Lizardmen. Big win for them, and the Tomb Kings are in real trouble now. Sporkle Stalkers taking a lot of damage as they're trying to push through the front line, which is ill-advised. So definitely a bit of a misplay there from the Tomb Kings, who have been having a solid game so far. The other Carnosaur got into Chosen of the Gods. So this is a really big play for the Lizardmen as they try and get back in this game. Fully sniping out Arkan does seem to be accomplished, which is probably the winning play of the game overall. Chosen of the Gods still shut down. Some skirmish cav are trying to push the Carnosaur off, but that is not going to be effective. Sporkle Stalkers are very low. Khemlin War Sphinx is about to die off. If the Salamanders can get one good volley on the Eyes of the Desert, get them crumbling. Now that Arkan is dead, it's unlikely that they rally, and there you go. You'll take out the last real threat against your feral Carnosaurs. Doesn't look like the Salamanders are needed. The Colden Riders and the Carnosaur themselves are able to take it out. So the Chosen of the Gods are blocked up. Even if they're not blocked up, I don't see them getting away enough to get decent shots down. The skirmish cav just isn't enough to push off this Carnosaur that's currently kicking their ass. The Khemrian War Sphinx is dead, so it's going to come down to just some skirmish cav who are running out of ammo and some random chaff infantry to kill Mazda with his clearing spells. He still has one Ruination of Cities. He has healing for his Carnosaurs. I mean, you should be fine, right? Mazda just cast something I thought I saw, but army losses is hitting the Tomb Kings, and yeah, the balance power was against the Lizardmen for quite a while there, but I don't know. I felt like they always had teeth in it. I don't think they needed that Arkan pick to win. I think it would have been nice. You got our replays. We cast it today. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna cast. The plan is to cast 2 series, one here and then one immediately after, then take a break for Tactical Lich to stream, because I don't want to stream over him. He planned his ahead of time, and mine's pretty impromptu. And then when he's done, I'll hop back on this afternoon and stream 2 more. So we'll get all the quarterfinals out today. I was going to stream this last weekend, but I got a cold and I just didn't feel like it. So yeah, we're going to do 4 streams today. The original plan was 2 streams Saturday, 2 streams today, and now I'm just like, well, I missed Saturday, so let's make them up today. So we'll do 4 today. Decent value across all the Tomb Kings units, nothing really standing out. Khemrian War Sphinx actually had a pretty rough time though. For Jepardu, his infantry mostly struggled, as you expect skinks to do, honestly, but the Cold and Spear Riders, one of them got shreked, the other one got a lot of value. The double feral Carnosaur both did fantastically, and the Emerald Tide did very well. So the units we were highlighting from the starts were the units that carried. That's kind of why I kept talking about them, is like, if the Lizardmen are going to win, they're going to win off these 3 units, and if they're going to lose, then those 3 units didn't perform. I'm sorry, Leonard Bullock. I'm sorry. Okay, let us pull up the thing. Scarbrand, I did receive your message with your replays, but I've already started this series, so I'm just going to finish this series instead of switching mid-series, buddy. So Jepardu gets America on the board. Bam! 1-1. There we go. Now I got to find my first domination game of the day. Attack Speed Enjoyer versus Alexander Nuts. Cool. Cool. That's Pope Patty. We don't need Pope Patty. Attack speed enjoy versus Alexander Nuts. Khorne versus Vampire Coast. This, in my head, feels incredibly one-sided for Khorne. I don't know. I think, like, won't they just take the point super quickly, murder all your zombies, get a ton of army passive, and then you can never retake the point? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Let's find out. Khorne, Vampire Coast. Attack speed enjoyer, Alexander Nuts. Hey, Pope Patty. All right, we have Karanak summoned out. Magic damage, dog that stops you from casting any spells or abilities within his range. Means he's probably going to find Celostra and just stick to her like glue when the fight gets started. He doesn't want to go completely isolated because then he'll get shot by handguns. For Khorne's other starting units, Knights of the Brazen Throne, a Marauder front line is pretty sufficient versus the coast. We have a Chaos Chariot of Khorne, Skull Reapers, and then the Blood Speaker. Don't see him often. He is on foot with just wild abandon, so trying to keep the Lord super cheap. I get that, though. You don't want Scarbrand or anybody that's really big and easy to shoot for the coast, so I guess a Foot Lord is fine. On the other side, Celostra on her Crab mount with both of her summons, the Crabs and the Ghost Knights. Then Tide Call. Zombie Pirate Gunner mob with pistols, then a bunch of deckhand mobs with polearms or swords, 3 bombers, a bunch of handguns, and more handguns getting summoned in. Pretty small map, more hot dog than hamburger style, so very long and easy to get in range and fire. Knights of the Brazen Throne should have a quite free time. They have pretty insane charge bonuses, so if they get into anything, they'll absolutely destroy it, unless there's like Death Guard polearms, I guess, maybe? I don't know. Vampire Coast just running forward to take the point. Kind of surprised Khorne is backing off. Now again, I'm not exactly a domination expert, but in my head, I'm like, wait, don't you want to just hop on the points? You kind of want to use the zombies as shields, where it's like get your infantry into melee as quickly as possible so the guns can't shoot at you and then murder their front line. But I don't know. Khorne's backing off. They must know something. Tide Call is a pretty underwhelming spell. It is only 5 winds of magic, but it's just a poke spell. It's extra underwhelming versus Khorne because of their 35% spell resistance. So I love watching a Tide Call go through basic Marauders and just do like literally no damage. I mean, it is what it is. You mostly want Celostra for the 2 summons, and then after that, you need to spend your winds of magic on something, but it just looks funny. First Rotting Promethean summon is out. It's going to go onto the Skull Reapers. Good first target. These guys are insane infantry blenders, so hitting them with some fake, not real, not important Prometheans would be smart, but actually the Prometheans are going to peel off and go help with Marauders. I do think that's a bit of a mistake, as the Bombers are already teeing off onto the Marauders of Khorne, who are just, like we said before, trying to get into that melee to get out of this hail of gunfire and get to the safety of melee combat. Also, they want to get into melee because they could get the leadership bonus of winning in melee combat, but yeah, they just get routed off from too much gunfire. The other Marauders are going to make it. They're going to take a lot of damage. And what are the Knights of the Brazen Throne up to? So they get into the back line, and yeah, that's the charge bonus we were talking about. These guys used to be oppressive in the meta. Beautiful double charge, and now they're going to pull out. They used to be oppressive in the meta. They took some nerfs, and also the meta just changed, but their crazy charge bonus does make them absolute blenders of infantry. They are at a high price point. They don't have good access to healing, and they are not that great in cavalry versus cavalry combat, which is why they've fallen off. But against the Vampire Coast, they definitely have a place. Even in land battles and conquest, I do like to sneak them in sometimes, and just, you really have to be careful not to let them get shot too much. But as we can see, I mean, they straight up took out 3 infantry units in one winding charge. It's crazy the damage they can do. Already 200 kills. Sword of Khorne coming out onto a piled up 3-man. Oh no, it's a disaster. That right there, disaster. That's what disaster looks like. Oh, brutal. And that's not going to show up on Khorne's gold damage value, but that was pretty huge. 3 handgunners taken out as the Knights of the Brazen Throne just charge right through them. Karanak is on Celostra. She's not allowed to cast any spells until he's dead, but the gun lines have been completely massacred by that Sword of Khorne and the Knights of the Brazen Throne. So there's no gun support. There's no melee support, because like you're never going to out melee Khorne, especially not at the Vampire Coast. This is one of the weakest melee factions versus one of the best melee factions, so Celostra's not going to get help from melee. We saw early in the battle, the advantage the Vampire Coast has, obvious, duh, I know, is gunpowder. The Khorne units were under such duress when they had to run through that hail of bullets to get to the front line, but now that they're in the front line, they are massacring the coast with abandon, and now that the back line is shut down, this is looking rather doomed. The damage values are super even, but again, the Sword of Khorne didn't count, and Crumbling doesn't count, so Khorne is actually much further ahead than you would think. And I just really like their position in this game. I'm super concerned for the coast's chances. Now, the coast do still have some capture weight going on. They do have victory point 2, and they're trying to take victory point 3, so they're almost to a triple cap. I really wonder about their ability to keep a triple cap, so it's good. You know, it's good to capture, it's good to get those points. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just like, I'm still pretty heavily in Khorne's favor right now. I think if there was a balance of power, it would be like 3/4 in Khorne's favor. Just the coast are taking so much damage, and I really doubt their capacity to push Khorne off of points in melee. As the Knights of the Brazen Throne trap in Solastra, again, because of Khorne, she hasn't been able to cast any spells since the start of this game. We haven't seen her second crab summon. We haven't seen her Ghost Knights at all. She's just been completely doomed. And it's tricky. It's tricky to do because, like, you might think, wow, Solastra, you're so stupid. Why didn't you use your Ghost Knights? You saw Khorne. But it's like, the Ghost Knights have such a short uptime that you need to cast them at the right moment. You needed to cast them with a specific target in mind, and Khorne didn't do anything until they did everything. So it was like, the moment the Knights of the Brazen Throne engaged, and you want those armor-piercing, chilling Ghost Knights to slow them down for the guns, Khorne was on her ass. So what did you want her to do? Summon the Ghost Knights, have them run uselessly at nothing, despawn, and then Khorne engages? It was just really hard. So Khorne's patience was paid off, and, like, yeah, when they backed off at the start and I was kind of confused. I'm still a little confused. I don't think they needed to wait as long as they did, but it wasn't an atrociously long time. They just waited for like 20 seconds. So yeah, my mild confusion doesn't mean that they played it poorly. I was just like, I feel like you could have taken the engagement sooner, but when they took the engagement, they took it beautifully. Damage value is starting to go in Khorne's favor a little bit. They have taken point 1. They're still lagging behind on the capture points, which is a bit concerning for them, but we have the Hounds of the Blood Hunt hunting down some Moringals, Marauders killing zombie deckhand mobs, so they do get terror-outed off. And now Khorne is starting to get some more capture weight in here. We got the Brutes of the Hound, Unbreakable Berserkers that should do pretty well. Khorne is pushing deep into the enemy backline, really trying to clog up their spawns and just get rid of these dogs on the hill and whatnot. But they did have to take a break, and they summoned some Flesh Hounds, they summoned some Marauder Horsemen, so their capture weight right now is pretty damn low. And you can see now they're just starting to spam out some infantry to retake these points from the coast. But they wanted to prioritize speed and being able to shut down the enemy spawn zone, take out all their ranged units, so it makes sense. All right, good luck with your physical therapy, Bertolaeus. I don't know why I tripped over my words there, but I did. Imagine conceding a triple cap. Khorne is about to take point 2, and they're about to reclaim point 3, so Khorne is about to have a triple cap, which I don't know how the coasts are going to push them off. The Vampire coasts are down to 7 units on the battlefield, and some of them are crumbling, while Khorne is at 15. Now, to be fair to Khorne, their mortal units are all very injured. We have a couple full health ones, but like you see, these 4 Marauders are all super injured and even getting desummoned. Skull Reapers are very injured. These dogs are injured. Marauders are injured, so that's a little inflated in Khorne's favor, but I do think it generally demonstrates the point I wanted to demonstrate. Ooh, a cheeky Depth Guard polearm summon from Alexander here to take point 1. I like that. He saw that his opponent had over-indexed briefly in Fleshhounds and Khorne and stuff, so he just summoned polearms, and he's like, what are you going to do about it? The Fleshhounds are just going to opt into this fight, which I find incredibly risky, but maybe their weight of numbers can just take down the Depth Guard. The charge is going to be good. I worry about the extended fight here might last too long. Khorne's going to take some damage. It's pretty whatever. Usually what the Depth Guard are going to be better at killing is the Hounds of the Blood Hunt and the Flesh Hounds. They're not amazing at killing single entities, especially single entities like Khorne that have pretty good jumping animations. So they tend to jump around the battle a lot and not take too much damage. Depth Guard end up losing 2/3 of their HP. The dogs are now trying to back off after taking decent amount of damage, but yeah. Khorne did well in thinning out their numbers. More polearms are getting spawned in. And that's all nice for point 1, where there's a lot of large units or single entities. I really don't know what the coasts are going to do about points 2 and 3, where you have Brutes of the Hound and then other Marauders just waiting to blend you into nothingness. And I imagine Khorne has gotten a crazy amount of army passive. I think I've seen 2 Swords of Khorne so far. Roots of the Hound currently fighting the Night Terrors and Zombie Pirate Deckhands mobs. Their unbreakable status will negate the terror caused by the Night Terrors. So it should be pretty fine. Depth Guard Polearm still fighting to the death against Khorne and some Hounds of the Blood Hunt. What's their value at currently? Ooh. Ooh. 1,800 value for the Depth Guard Polearms. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Still, the Coast are having difficulties getting out of their spawn. There's various dogs just harassing them and keeping them locked up. Coast are fighting back, though. They've caught up on some of the gold damage value, which we've acknowledged is a little fraudulent, but it gives us the general idea. And that's why Khorne saved up a lot of money, and instead of investing it in infantry and capture weight, now they have the Knights of the Brazen Throne back in black and ready to stack. I don't know what they're stacking, but it rhymed. Khorne's still maintaining their triple cap, though that could get a little concerning if, this is a big if, and it's a hard if to follow up on, but if the Coast find a way to absolutely gank the Knights of the Brazen Throne, that is their way back in this game, because Khorne took a bit of a risk. Instead of just spamming infantry to keep points, they spawned a very expensive playmaking unit. So if you fuck up a play, like if you don't notice a blunderbuss that got summoned in the trees and you do that charge in front of a blunderbuss, you lose 2/3 of the HP of the Knights of the Brazen Throne. Your advantage is gone. It's fucked at that point. So expensive units, very good, but risky. So Khorne playing with fire as we do get some pistol summons. Pistols pushing off the Flesh Hounds of Khorne, more polearms pushing back the Khorne forces at 0.1. 0.2 seems pretty fine. Like we said, those Marauders are going to blend through infinite zombies easily, especially with Knights of the Brazen Throne offering support, as they tried to set up a rear charge but then got stuck. Brutes of the Hound, man, still just holding up the Vampire Coast. They took out half the Night Terror's health, a little bit more, and a zombie deckhand mob with them, so that unit definitely paid for itself. It did its job. I don't know what the Coast is going to do about this. This is a bunch of infantry just lambs to the slaughter at the Knights of the Brazen Throne's altar. There we go. Beautiful charge through the polearms. Beautiful charge down through the Zombie Pirate Deckhands mobs. And you can see even polearms, if they're light mass enough, just can't withstand the charge of the Knights of the Brazen Throne. Even if they're perfectly braced, it still feels like it does a lot of damage. And that's going to be GG. Alexander throws in the towel. Better performance for the Coast than I would have thought on paper. I did, like, you can rewind, you can hear me say it, but I was like, this feels incredibly Khorne favored. The Coast didn't roll over and die, so I'll give them that. But it did largely go how I thought. Again, the Coast had a bit more spine than I gave them credit for, but like their infantry couldn't do shit against even basic Khorne infantry. And I am a recognized global hater. I am #1 in the world on hating on Khorne Marauders. And even then, I'm like, okay, Khorne Marauders can beat deckhand mobs. And then you can summon in better stuff like the Brutes of the Hound, like the Skull Reapers and whatever. And it's just like all of your infantry as the Coast are fodder for Khorne. They can't do shit about it. So I didn't really like in this matchup, and I'm open to being wrong, but I'm like, well, how do you take and hold any points? Like, you don't have armored infantry. You can't even make Khorne at least invest in armor piercing for their infantry. They can just spam Marauders and shit and massacre you and get more Swords of Khorne and massacre you further. I don't know. It's tough. It feels really tough. Alexander played it good, but attack speed enjoyers felt like he just had a plan and executed it. Like the play at the start was the biggest play of the game, but it's when Khorne immediately silenced Solastra as the Knights of the Brazen Throne charged in. It's just like, all right, no Ghost Knights, no crabs, nothing to stop these guys from just running through your lines. It's probably GG. Danikin saying it's not good for Khorne and Dom, but not blocking those knights eating this sword was rough. All right. I'll trust you. If you are who I think you are, then you're definitely better at domination than I am, so I'll trust you, sir. So, Attack Speed Enjoyer takes the win. We'll give him the check mark of Doom. On the other side, we will give the Great X of Violence. Next up is Pope Patty versus Driver. If you want the Swiss to guarantee a spot in the semifinals, you are rooting for Pope Patty or Sipa to get a win. If you want America to make it to the semifinals, you're rooting for Driver or Torreson. Though, to be fair, there is another American team in the quarterfinals, so this is not our only hope. But you know what? Why don't we just have 2 Americans in the semifinals? Why don't we just America? I'm down. Okay, so that was that one. Now we have Bretonnia of Pope Patty versus the Greenskins of Driver. You should always root for Pope Patty. Pope Patty has a degenerate build, so I'm not rooting for Pope Patty. Double Grail Guardian, Grail Relique, Green Knight. Okay. Fey Enchantress with Regrowth and Earthblood, plus her Chalice of Potions in favor of the Fey. The Green Knight, very popular in land battles and conquest. Now it looks like he's also getting a little bit of love and domination with his ability to just sit in the forest and heal himself slightly, plus his insane ward save and physical resistance combo. Frostbite, magic damage, full armor piercing. He's gotten several buffs and is finally relevant. So unless you have good magic damage, especially spells to take him out, he is very difficult to get rid of once and for all. Double Grail Guardian with impressive melee defense, really going to try and hold back the Greenskin Tide. And then very limited infantry core, which is strange for Bretonnia. In the domination games I've cast, there's been a lot of Bretonian games, and they almost always start with a horrendous mass of peasants, and they'll summon in knights later. So it is interesting to see you start with the knights, and you're going to rely on the peasants, because it's difficult. Now, it can be done if you're a really good player and you're really patient, you have good battlefield awareness and micro, but it is difficult to summon in the slow frontline second, get them to formation without just feeding them to their deaths or arriving places too slow, yada, yada, yada. So this is going to be difficult for Pope Patty. Hopefully he has good attention to detail and not summon things in or forget to summon things in, but summon them and then not move them. The other side for the Greenskins, much more typical of what I see out of Horde factions. Starting off with a crap ton of infantry to gain battlefield presence, then you'll summon in mobility second. We have Goblins on the front line, currently getting charged by Girl Guardians and the Fae. Orc Boys, Orc Biggins, Savage Orc Biggins, Orc Boys more Goblins than Archers, and some Savage Orc Boar Boys. We do have the Night Goblin Shaman with, not the usual spells, Itchy Nuisance and Curse the Bad Moon and Sneaky Stabbin'. And then we have the Night Goblin War Boss with his net and fermented fungi. Green Knight potentially overextending, as he does get netted briefly, and now he might get rampaged. The problem is without Fists of Gork, which is honestly why you usually in this matchup see the Orc Shaman. Nice Chalice of Potions going to punish the Greenskins. But you usually see the Orc Shaman for Fists of Gork, the magic damage. Comet of Cassandora does a lot of friendly fire to the Green Knight. That is a tale as old as time. For some reason, that Comet always does a lot of damage to him. But here comes the Curse of the Bad Moon, plus Itchy Nuisance, really debuffing the Grail Guardian's stats. And I was going to mention this, but the game just took off at a rapid pace, so I couldn't really talk about it. Grail Guardians is interesting here. I don't know if I like it. Greenskins are famous for getting a crap ton of melee attack, either through Fists of Gork, Wah, or Here We Go. They didn't bring that, but they still have Itchy, Sneaky Stabbin'. So there's a lot of ways to get melee attack, and Grail Guardians are generally strong because they're incredibly high melee defense with perfect vigor, meaning it never goes down. But the Greenskins are able to usually overcome melee defense, which is why I'm surprised to see such a defensive unit versus Greenskins who are like known for punching through. Pope Patty is behind on gold damage value, though he does have significant healings. That should be, you know, mitigated. The Greenskins are going to have to maintain a damage lead to win this game because they have to kill the Bretonians several times over. Some Pegasus Knights are getting summoned in. Meanwhile, we have not Ruglin's Armored Orcs, Orc Boar Biggins and the Swamp Things. But you can see why the Green Knight's so powerful. Without Fists of Gork, without Spirit Leech, it is really hard to kill this guy. He's been sitting in the middle of a bunch of Greenskin units. He is perfectly fine, and now he's even hunting down the Night Goblin War Boss again. Terror routes him, and the Bretonians push off the Greenskin infantry from point 3. So that is really difficult. I am very concerned in Driver's build that he has literally nothing to deal with the Green Knight. I like the rest of his build for a lot of other things. The big and spam is smart and strong versus Bretonnia. He's summoning in the right units. He's doing all the same stuff, but like, I really don't like the Night Goblin caster in this matchup. I really, really don't like it. I think you need Fists of Gork in case of the Green Knight. I think you need Fists of Gork to overcome Grail Guardians and Knights of the Realms melee defense for your Savage Orc Boar Boys. And I really think you need Here We Go as well for that. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned. The caster in me wants to be like, holy shit, he brought Curse of the Bad Moon. It's so epic. But I'm also like, bro, the Green Knight. Bro, what are you gonna do about the Green Knight? He's gonna solo carry this game, dude. Driver's still up a bit in damage value. As you can see, besides the Green Knight, the Bretonnians are taking a lot of damage across the board. Their infantry has been pushed off pretty effectively. The Grail Guardians are even attritioning out despite all the healing. We do have Mounted Yeoman trying to backcap, be a little annoying, but this is a huge problem. Green Knight hunting down your Lord, brutal. Greenskins, notoriously low leadership faction, not quite Skaven tier low leadership, but low leadership. Losing their Lord is really bad. And the Green Knight causes terror, so when you lose your Lord, your leadership's already low, and then you have a Ghost Knight running through your lines causing terror outs. It's going to get really bad really fast. So the damage value favors Driver, but through healing and better leadership, I would actually think Bretonnia is more in control of the game right now. As a massive Comet comes in, that is the second Chalice of Potions, so she's out of cast, but does take out another Boar Boy. Sipping my beverage. We do get some Squig Hoppers. Seems like the Greenskins are trying to leverage a bit of ITP. So Dirt Kick Squig Hoppers are immune to Psychology, and then you have the Swamp Things that are immune to Terror because they cause terror. Seeing that your Lord is about to die, it looks like they want some mass that can stay in the fight. The Green Knight is having Warhammer 3 problems, however, as he is a horse character trying to chase a foot character, so he ends up knocking over the Night Goblin Warboss a lot. There he finally gets a good hit in, but he has been chasing this Night Goblin for a while. I feel the Bretonnian's frustration as he just tries to finish off that damn Warboss, but he can't quite seem to do it. Bretonnia has caught up in gold damage value for the most part, and with their healing, I would say they're probably ahead. So they're ahead in damage value, they're ahead in battlefield presence, and they're about to be ahead in leadership. Things are getting really grim for the Greenskins. Night Goblin Warboss gets knocked over for the 50th time. Still, the Green Knight cannot finish him off. Frontline fight, Bretonnia is pushing them back as Knights Errant and Mounted Yeomen fight side by side with Grail Guardians. That feels like a weird pairing. Grail Guardians are probably like, get away from me! You are not worthy to breathe in my farts. My farts are too good for you, Yeomen. Get out! Leave me here! I will fight the Green Menace alone. Ho ho! And the Fan Enchantress is just telling him to calm the fuck down. Green Knight still chasing the Night Goblin Warboss. He's been at 460 health for quite a while. There comes the killing blow. Finally, Night Goblin Warboss is dead, and I expect to see a lot of white flags rising from the Greenskin ranks now. The Rusty Arrows look like they're going to be fleeing any second. There they go. We are about to lose the Broken Test Mob and the Swamp Things. When one leaves, the other for sure will as well. Greenskins in a bit of a dire spot. Now, they do have a double cap. It looks like they snuck past the Bretonnians and took point 1. That's nice. I don't think this game is going to capture points. I think, well, okay, technically, if neither player surrenders, then yes, it'll go to capture points, but I don't think this game is going to be decided by point value. I think it's going to be decided by one army getting absolutely massacred, and currently, that's the Greenskins. There they go, hand in hand like I predicted, because I am the sage from the mountain, all shall worship me. Knights of the Realm running down some Spider Riders. Spider Rider is going to be able to outrun them with their poison. And the Morgoth's Mangy Marauder is actually going to do a lot of armor-piercing damage to them, but Knights of the Realm just zoning all those guys, pushing them away as the Bretonnians clean up the Greenskins over here. It's looking done and dusted. I just don't see how the Greenskins are going to get their momentum back. They either need to stop and resummon their Lord, which again, the Green Knight is just going to hunt his ass down like he did the first time. But then, what are you going to do about all these armored knights? Right now, they have a bunch of skirmish cav and some half-assed infantry. Like, we don't even have biggins. You can't pretend that if the knights overcommit into the goblins, they'll die. It's like, no, they're not going to give a fuck. Hey, look, the Night Goblin Warboss is dead. I wonder how long it'll take the Green Knight to right-click on his ass. Dun-dun. 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 Hard to tell if he's actually trying to hit the orcs right now or if he's trying to path through them and get to the Night Goblin Warboss. Nah, he's trying to kill the orcs. Oh, yeah, the Warboss is stalked. Okay, the Green Knight doesn't know that he's supposed to be hunting him down. That's pretty smart. I like that. That's pretty smart. So the Greenskins got their leadership back, and the Bretonnians don't even know they're supposed to be killing that guy. But my original problem maintains. Sure, you got your leadership back, but it's leadership for what? We have shit goblins. We have almost dead Broken Tusk Mob. We have some skirmish cav. Greenskins are just losing momentum. And they're a momentum-based faction. They have a really hard time making comebacks in games, whether it's domination, land battles, conquest, any of them. Greenskins are not good from behind. They need to seize, like, they need to take the game in their hands and keep it. That's their whole thing. They like to run over people, but coming back is brutal for them. They get their 2 uses of Wa, and that's it. Their leadership sucks after their lord dies or after they take enough damage. And the Bretonnians are just built for this. They have a lot of perfect vigor units. They have a ton of healing, cheap, easy chaff to summon into the game. So yeah, they're looking really good. I feel like I've just been singing the praises of Bretonnia this whole time, but I also don't feel like lying. I don't feel like going like, well, maybe if the Greenskins summon a rogue idol for free, the free rogue idol that famously exists, maybe they could turn this shit around. I'm like, I don't know. Bretonnia has healing, better vigor, better leadership, and they're getting more damage out. That seems pretty one-sided to me. So, yeah. Bretonnia running away with it. Greenskins pushed off. Bretonnians have a triple cap at this point. Damage value advantage, healing advantage. And the Green Knight now knows that the Night Goblin War Boss exists. There's the big red arrow. You can only hide for so long, but as soon as you participate in the game, the Green Knight's coming. He rampaged Grail Knights, and the Grail Knights are like, okay, we will be more mad at you than we already were. She... Men, charge that goblin. Sir, he threw a strange mushroom at us. Men, charge that goblin angrily. It did not change what we were going to do. Orc Barbarians getting absolutely massacred, but in comes the curse of the bad moon that will change the fate of this game. Get fucked, Bretonnians. Look at that angry moon doing tens of damage to your heavily armored asses. He throws in the towel. The Bretonnians will win. Is that the best Bretonnia player in the world? It is! It is! Green Knight and the Fan Enchantress both did great. Grill Guardians did very nicely, though they did need a lot of healing support. And then the rest of the build existed. Field Trebuchet did very well. Grail Knights were summoned in late. Knights of the Realm did very well, though I imagine they were summoned multiple times. For Driver, it sucks he had to summon his Lord twice, and his Lord didn't get that much value. He is a support Lord, so you're not going to look at him for real damage value, but I also didn't notice, like, oh shit, that Rampage was so sick, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just kind of like, I mean, he's here to be a leadership buff. It's inspiring to see you use your recovery downtime to learn French. I did learn French. I'm so smart and wonderful. Yeah, Greenskins needed more magic damage. I don't think they had a single source of magic damage in their whole build, and that clearly showed in the Green Knight's ability to just run wherever he wanted to and do whatever he wants. So, with that, the Swiss have secured a semifinal spot, but we will cast the last game regardless. No game left uncast. We have Sipa versus Thorasin. Oh my goodness. That's a wild high elf build. A L'Ariel trying to heal up double Oceanids and a Sea Elemental versus the Dark Elves. Did the Dark Elves bring enough magic damage to kill those oceanic monsters? Cool. For the Dark Elves of Sipa, Chill of Sontar, not magic damage, just frostbite and stuff. 2 Doomfire Warlocks, bit of magic damage there. Cold One Knights, Dark Riders, Witch Elves, Dread Spear Frontline, and Supreme Sorcerers of Dark with Doom Bolts. Try and take out some lords. This side for the High Elves, Spearmen and Ship's Company Frontline, backed up by a couple archers, 2 Dragon Princes, neither of which are the Fireborn, double Oceanid, and then we have a Sea Elemental. Doom Bolts raining in, 2 bound to the Doomfire Warlocks and 1 on the Lord. L'Ariel Radiant with Star of Avalorn and Earthblood. And then we have a second caster with Searing Doom and Plague of Rust. Now something just deleted the archers. It was a Chill of Sontar breath attack from the side that I missed while I was casting the builds. Oceanids charge forward, Soul Blight is down, reducing their armor from 0 to still 0, but it also reduces their damage by 25%. See Elemental going nuts in the back line, absolutely unafraid of anything near it. But the Doomfire Warlocks are going to have to find a way to get onto the Oceanids in open combat. That would be really good for them, get their magic damage out. We will see, we will see. Star of Avalorn is here for the Oceanids already, as they've taken decent damage. Oh, we also have a Khainate Assassin. I didn't notice the little guy. He has Web of Shadows. Neat. He's gonna fire away at the Sea Elemental. I wonder how many of his crossbow shots will even hit, as its animations take it to safety a lot of the time. Another Doombolt is down on Delariel, and Chill of Sontar gets to her. And if it gets a couple good attacks in, she could be taken out nice and early, and no more healing for the High Elves would be very bad. Where did the Dragon Princes end up? One of the Doomfire Warlocks is already running away as the Searing Doom goes down, but the Searing Doom did actually a significant amount of friendly fire. Oopsies. Really damaged everybody quite a lot. Chill of Sontar plus a Doombolt still hunting down Alarielle the Radiant as the Sea Elemental is trying to peel for her. It's trying to threaten the Chill of Sontar and like distract it in any way, but the Chill just seems to be ignoring it and pushes Alarielle away, who is trying to retreat. She's trying to get behind the Sea Elemental to at least get some blocking going on or something to heal herself back up. There's an Earth Blood to help her a little bit as well. Dragon Prince is holding back Cold One Knights. Balance power is slightly in the Dark Elves' favor as we are about to lose one of our Oceanids. Sea Elemental still super healthy. Alarielle can heal herself up a lot, but a Khainate Assassin might be doing Khainate assassinating things. The big red arrow is onto Alarielle as he charges through everybody. Dragon Prince is here to peel him off, though. Send him flying through the air. There's his Web of Shadows down, and another Doombolt for Alarielle. Not able to heal herself up just yet. That second Star of Avalorn charge seems to be on cooldown. Doombolt gonna finish her off. The High Elves lose their Lord, they lose their healing, and they might just lose the game. Dark Elf frontline buffed up by those Witch Elves, able to get through the Ship's Company and Spearmen. So the frontline was winning for the Dark Elves. The Lord sniping was better for the Dark Elves. And it did seem like the High Elves were winning the Cav fight overall with the Oceanids and Sea Elemental and stuff, but it was not enough. We can see across the board they are just starting to die off. Dragon Princes are shattering without their Lord. Sea Elemental is about to die. That's gonna be GG. Water Park Elves, let's go. Third best player in the world in Resident Dark Elf main versus some Swiss dude? Are you saying Torreson is a Dark Elf main? I actually don't know what he means, but I thought it was High Elves. Doombolt is such a fun spell to play around. Yeah. Though honestly, she didn't get that much value. 640. Chill Sontar did well. Khainate Assassin got a beautiful Web of Shadows. Witch Elves did okay. Cold Knights did pretty well overall. Doomfire Warlocks actually struggled. On the other side for Torreson, Alarielle had a difficult time surviving. Metals Caster didn't get that much value either. Archers actually paid for themselves in their short lives. Dragon Princes did fine. Ocean had struggled, and the Sea Elemental did okay. It was a lie, Human Boy? A straight lie? Okay. Well, cool. Thanks for lying to me, bruh. That is a 4-1 victory for the Swiss forces. Let's go to the bracket. So we're down here. Hop Schweiz. Secure themselves a spot in the semifinals. Versus who? Versus who? You'll never know versus who. I will cast that one this afternoon. The Slavic Mushrooms versus VM. For now, I'm going to throw you over to a stream of XMT Netherlands versus ODM France. So we'll go right into that, my friends. Let us find where to do that again. Here, and then we go down to redirect. That's in customization, I think. There we go. Redirect you to Netherlands versus France. I will see you there in just a second. Just a moment, dear friends. You will be joined by me again, casting a thing of video games and stuff. Go there. Go now. Goodbye. Get out.